Okay, team leaders, before we do this, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that all the children need to be sitting on one side. This is the screen that Francine's trying to videotape, and all the kids need to be sitting on one side because if their kids are sitting over there, they won't see what's projected onto the screen. You also might want to think about taking the materials home with you so you can practice at home because this one takes a little bit of playing around with to do well. So that's my advice for team leaders, and now we're ready to do Let's Find Out About It. So welcome to Let's Find Out About It, Agnes. I'm so glad you're here. We have a lot of fun things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to get to talk about shadows and how we can make shadows. And I have a special page from the book that we read today, from the Dreams book. And I wanted to show you a picture. So I see the paper mouse on the page. What do you see here, Agnes?
A big shadow.
You're right, it's a big shadow. And what happened with the shadow? What did the dog think? What do you think the dog thought the shadow was?
He was scared of it.
He was scared because look, it got really big. Do you think he thought it was like a monster or an animal? What do you think?
It looks like a witch.
You think it looks like a witch? Well, I think the dog was really scared of the shadow. And we're going to talk a lot more about shadows and how we make shadows. Okay, so I have some objects that we are going to practice with. So I have a Lego, and I'm going to hold the Lego up in front of my eye. Can you see my eye?
No.
No, and you know why? Because this is opaque, which means that no light can get through. So now we're going to see what happens when we look at the shadow of the Lego. So, sometimes you have to move your screen. Agnes, what do you see for the Lego? What kind of shadow do you think the Lego is making?
It looks just like the Lego, but it's not blue.
It looks just like the Lego, and it's not blue. And you know what? It's kind of a dark shadow. And the reason it's a dark shadow is because we said that the Lego is opaque, which means that it doesn't let any light through. Doesn't let any light through. Okay, so we're going to try with another object.
I have a question. Where's Alejandro Magaña's office?
It's right there.
This one right here?
So we're going to try with another object. And so this is a plastic cup. And we're going to do the same test we did with the Lego. Can you see my eye? No? Can you see my eye like a little bit?
You guys want to be
Little bit.
A little bit? Well, that's because this is called translucent, which means a little bit of light gets through. Remember we said this one? No light gets through. That's because it's opaque. And this one, a little bit of light gets through. What kind of shadow do you think it's going to cast on our screen?
I don't know.
You don't know? Do you want me to try? Okay. So, here's the flashlight. So, does the shadow look like it was dark like the Lego?
Lighter.
Lighter?
And
So
bigger.
It's a little lighter and it's a little bigger than the one that we did with the Lego. Okay, so that's because this one's translucent. A little bit of light gets through. And we have another thing to test, and we have a piece of plastic. Now we're going to see what kind of shadow the plastic casts. What do you think? Like a dark shadow?
Light shadow.
You think light? And if I hold this up to my eye, can you see my eye?
Yeah.
Yeah, because all the light gets through. So you think it's going to be a light shadow. Let's see.
There's no shadow.
Yeah, the shadow is really light. And you know why? Because this is transparent, which means that almost all the light gets through. Let's look once more. There's a teeny shadow. It's a really light shadow. Okay, so let's remember. First, we did the Lego. Do you remember what kind of shadow the Lego did?
It was dark.
You think it was dark? Let's double check. Yeah, you're right, Agnes. It's dark. And do you remember why this one's dark?
Because it's that word.
Yeah, let's say that O word. Opaque. Opaque. And that's because no light can get through. It's a really dark shadow. Okay, let's see what else we tested. Oh, and we tested something that I think I dropped. I did. So, we tested the plastic cup. And what happened with the plastic cup?
It was a light shadow.
Let's try. Let's double check. If we see if you remember. Oh, you're right. It's lighter than the Lego because this one's called translucent. Let's say that. Translucent. Translucent. And that means a little bit of light gets through. And then this one, do you remember what happened when we did this one?
It was no shadow.
Yeah, the shadow is really, really light. It's almost hard to see it. because the light gets through so much that there's almost no shadow. And now we have some other fun things that we're going to do at Let's Find Out About It today. So I'm going to take two friends, and you're going to get a chance to experiment and make shadows with your hand. And if you want, you can make your hand closer. You can make a really big shadow. And then my other friends, I'm going to take two friends to make shadows with their hands with me. My other friends are going to get to look at some really interesting pictures of shadows. And you're going to get to do this with Mr. Nick. And then we'll take turns. So once you look at the pictures, then you're going to come over and work with me, and you're going to get to play around and see what you can do with the flashlight and the shadow. We're going to see if you can make a dark shadow like the Lego or a light shadow. So Mr. Nick's going to take these pictures and look at them with our friends. Agnes, you want to take a turn?
Sure.
And make a shadow? So here's the flashlight, and that's your screen. You could use your hand. Oh, looks like you're making a duck. Your shadow is pretty dark, like the Lego. Oh, your shadow got really
Whoa, that's scary.
big. It kind of looks like a monster.
My finger's so big.
Your finger is big. I wonder what happens when you hold the flashlight further away.
It gets smaller.
It gets smaller. So if you put the flashlight closer to your hand in the screen, it looks like it gets bigger. It like takes over the screen.
Yeah, it's like a movie.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Agnes, thanks for taking a turn. Well, you can go over and meet with Mr. Nick, and I'm going to pretend to be Mr. Nick. Okay, Agnes, we have a really interesting picture of someone's shadow. What do you see?
It's on the ground.
Yeah.
And it's really big.
It is. I think it looks like a person.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a person. Oh my goodness, this one is amazing. Look at this one.
It's water.
It is water. What else? What do you see that you see a shadow of, do you think?
A person.
Yeah, and the shadow looks pretty dark.
Yeah, and they're not there. Where are they?
We can't see them. The shadow's kind of opaque because it's a dark shadow, and that shadow's pretty opaque too because no light's getting in. What do you think this is a picture of?
Snow.
Yeah, and it looks like maybe it's like a train. And the shadow's pretty big of the train. Okay, so now I'm going to take some new friends to come over and do the shadow puppets with me.